This backyard wild plant grows more fresh food than most home vegetable gardens. What if the most productive food plants in your backyard aren't in your raised beds, but growing wild along the fence line? While many home gardeners spend hundreds of dollars on seeds, fertilizer, irrigation systems, and organic pest control, some of the most nutrient-dense, high-yield edible plants grow freely with almost no effort. These so-called weeds can outperform traditional vegetable gardens in total harvest, resilience, and long-term sustainability. Let's get started. One, lamb's quarters wild spinach. The backyard superfood most gardeners pull out. If you've ever pulled a tall leafy weed from your backyard and tossed it aside, there's a good chance you removed one of the most nutrient-dense edible plants in North America. Lamb's quarters, Chenopodium album, often called wild spinach, grows aggressively in disturbed soil, garden beds, compost piles, and even cracks along fences. What many people don't realize is that this so-called weed produces more edible leafy greens per square foot than many cultivated spinach varieties. In fact, it was widely eaten before modern commercial vegetables took over. For anyone interested in organic gardening, sustainable food systems, or backyard homesteading, this plant is a hidden gold mine. Lamb's quarters is extremely productive. It grows fast, tolerates heat better than traditional spinach, and continues producing edible leaves long after regular spinach bolts in summer. The young leaves are tender and mild, while mature leaves can be sautéed, blended into green smoothies, or added to soups just like kale or Swiss chard. Nutritionally, it is rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, iron, and plant-based protein. Many foraging experts consider it one of the best wild edible plants for food security and emergency preparedness gardening. The reason it outperforms most vegetable gardens is simple. You don't have to baby it. There's no expensive soil amendment, no pest management routine, and no irrigation system required. It reseeds itself naturally, meaning one plant can produce thousands of seeds and return year after year. For people looking to reduce grocery bills, build a self-sufficient backyard, or create a high-yield survival garden, lamb's quarters is one of the smartest plants to keep. Two, groundnut, Apios americana. The forgotten native crop that produces underground protein. Groundnut, Apios americana, sometimes called American groundnut or hopness, is one of the most underrated perennial food crops in North America. This climbing vine produces clusters of edible tubers underground, similar to small potatoes, but with significantly higher protein content. Indigenous communities cultivated groundnut for centuries as a staple crop long before industrial agriculture existed. Today, it's gaining renewed interest among regenerative agriculture enthusiasts and permaculture designers. For backyard food growers looking for high-protein crops and edible landscaping ideas, this plant deserves serious attention. Unlike typical root vegetables that require replanting each season, groundnut is a perennial plant. Once established, it returns every year and gradually expands its underground tuber network. The tubers are rich in complex carbohydrates, protein, and essential minerals, making them more nutritionally balanced than many common garden vegetables. Above ground, the vine produces attractive reddish-brown flowers, making it both ornamental and edible, a powerful combination in modern edible garden design. This makes it perfect for vertical gardening systems, trellises, and food forest setups. Groundnut can produce a surprising yield in small spaces, especially when allowed to grow undisturbed for multiple seasons. Because it fixes nitrogen in the soil as a legume, It also improves soil fertility naturally, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. That's a major advantage for anyone interested in organic farming, sustainable gardening, or low-maintenance backyard food production. While it requires patience during the first year, once established, it can outproduce many traditional vegetable beds in long-term harvest potential. Three, mulberry, the king of berries that produces more fruit than most berry bushes. If productivity is your goal, mulberry trees might be the most powerful fruit plant you can grow in a backyard garden. Unlike many commercial berry bushes that require careful pruning, pest control, and precise watering schedules, mulberry trees are hardy, drought-tolerant, and incredibly generous producers. A mature tree can yield hundreds of pounds of fruit per season under the right conditions. That's more fresh fruit than most small home vegetable gardens combined. For anyone building a high-yield backyard orchard or passive income garden, mulberry is a serious contender. Mulberries are rich in antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin K, iron, and beneficial plant compounds like resveratrol. The fruit can be eaten fresh, dried like raisins, blended into smoothies, or used for homemade jam and natural desserts. Because the tree produces heavily and often drops fruit naturally, it provides continuous harvest during peak season. This makes it ideal for families interested in organic fruit growing, homestead food production, and backyard superfoods. Once established, maintenance costs are extremely low compared to many commercial fruit crops. Another reason mulberry outperforms typical berry bushes is longevity. While strawberries and raspberries need replacement every few years, mulberry trees can produce fruit for decades. They also provide shade, wildlife habitat, and improved microclimates for companion plants, increasing total garden productivity. For sustainable landscaping, edible forest gardens, and long-term food security planning, mulberry trees are among the highest return fruit investments you can plant. Four, amaranth pigweed, the dual-purpose grain in green that outproduces most crops. Amaranth, often dismissed as pigweed, is one of the most powerful high-yield food plants you can grow in a backyard garden. Many species of amaranthus are edible, producing both nutrient-dense leafy greens and protein-rich grain seeds from a single plant. Historically cultivated in Central and South America, amaranth was a staple crop long before modern industrial agriculture. Today, it's making a comeback in regenerative farming and climate-resilient gardening systems. For anyone serious about food security and sustainable backyard farming, this plant is incredibly valuable. The leaves can be harvested continuously like spinach or Swiss chard, especially when picked young. They're rich in iron, calcium, fiber, and antioxidants, making them excellent for green smoothies, sautéed dishes, and healthy meal prep. But what truly sets amaranth apart is the seed head. One plant can produce thousands of tiny, protein-rich grains that can be cooked like quinoa, popped like popcorn, or ground into gluten-free flour. In terms of calories per square foot, few backyard crops match this level of productivity. Amaranth thrives in hot weather, tolerates poor soil, and requires very little maintenance. Unlike many traditional vegetable garden crops that struggle in summer heat, amaranth actually prefers it. This makes it ideal for drought-tolerant landscaping and low-input organic gardening. Because it self-seeds easily, it often returns year after year with minimal effort. When you compare the total edible yield, greens plus grain, it often outperforms many conventional home vegetable gardens. 5. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica, the wild superfood packed with nutrients. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica, may look intimidating, but it's one of the most nutrient-dense wild edible plants in temperate climates. Once cooked or dried, the sting disappears completely, leaving behind a deep green vegetable similar to spinach. For centuries, nettle has been used in traditional herbal medicine, sustainable food systems, and wild foraging cultures across Europe and North America. It thrives naturally in rich soil, along fences, near compost piles, and in partially shaded areas. For backyard homesteaders and organic gardeners, it's an incredibly resilient perennial crop. Nettle is exceptionally high in iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and vitamin C. Many people use it in soups, pestos, teas, and even protein-rich green powders. Unlike delicate garden greens that bolt quickly, nettle produces heavily in early spring, a time when most vegetable beds are still empty. That early season harvest gives it a major advantage in seasonal food production and self-sufficient gardening. It's one of the first edible greens available after winter. Because it spreads through underground rhizomes, nettle creates a long-term food source with very little maintenance. Once established, it returns every year and often expands naturally. It also improves biodiversity by supporting beneficial insects and soil health. For permaculture design, food forest systems, and long-term edible landscaping, nettle is considered a foundational plant. When managed intentionally, it can produce more reliable greens than many carefully planted vegetable beds. Six. Elderberry, the backyard medicinal tree that produces buckets of fruit. Elderberry shrubs are among the most productive fruiting plants you can grow in a backyard orchard. Sambucus species, especially Sambucus nigra and Sambucus canadensis, are known for producing large clusters of dark purple berries each season. A mature shrub can yield heavy harvests with minimal maintenance once established. For gardeners focused on organic fruit growing and edible landscaping, elderberry offers both beauty and productivity. It's widely grown in sustainable agriculture and homestead gardens for its reliability. Elderberries are rich in antioxidants, anthocyanins, and vitamin C, and are traditionally used in syrups, jams, and cooked preparations. It's important to note that raw berries should not be eaten in large amounts, but once cooked, they are widely used in food and herbal preparations. The shrub also produces fragrant white flowers that can be used in teas and culinary recipes. In terms of yield per plant, elderberry often produces more usable fruit than many small berry bushes like blueberries or raspberries, and it does so with far less intensive care. Elderberry thrives in a wide range of soil conditions and tolerates pruning well, making it adaptable to backyard garden design. It grows quickly and can form a dense hedge that doubles as a privacy screen. For anyone building a high-yield backyard orchard or planning long-term food security planting, elderberry is a strategic choice. It combines ornamental value, pollinator support, and heavy fruit production in one plant. Few berry crops offer that level of multifunction productivity. Seven. Dandelion, the every-part edible plant that never stops producing. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale, might be the most underestimated food plant in the world. Every part of the plant is edible: roots, leaves, flowers, and even unopened buds. Unlike traditional vegetable crops that require careful planting schedules, Dandelions grow almost anywhere without assistance. They thrive in lawns, garden beds, and even compacted soil. For those interested in wild edible plants and self-sufficient living, dandelion is one of the most accessible food sources available. The young leaves are commonly used in salads and are rich in vitamins A, C, and K, along with minerals like calcium and potassium. The roots can be roasted and used as a caffeine-free coffee substitute. The flowers can be turned into syrup, tea, or even fermented beverages. Because it grows continuously and regenerates from deep taproots, dandelion provides repeated harvests throughout the season. Few vegetable garden plants offer that level of persistence. From a food security perspective, dandelion is incredibly valuable. It requires no irrigation system, no fertilizer program, and no pest control strategy. Its deep roots help break up compacted soil and bring minerals to the surface, improving soil structure naturally. For sustainable gardening, regenerative agriculture, and low-maintenance backyard farming, dandelion is a powerhouse. What most homeowners try to eliminate may actually be one of the most reliable edible crops in their yard. Conclusion. The truth is, productive gardening isn't always about planting more. Sometimes it's about recognizing what's already growing. Lamb's quarters, groundnut, mulberry, amaranth, stinging nettle, elderberry, and dandelion are all proven edible plants with documented nutritional value and long histories in traditional food systems. Many of them require less maintenance than conventional vegetable crops, yet produce impressive harvests year after year. For anyone interested in sustainable living, backyard farming, homesteading, or building a high-yield survival garden, learning to work with these plants instead of against them can transform your entire food strategy. If this opened your eyes to what might already be growing in your yard, imagine what else is possible when you design your garden around resilience and productivity.